10:01. Good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I am Robert Walsh. Some developing news in the NFL this morning per Ian Rappaport. As free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers is expected to visit the Steelers on Friday. Rodgers will likely play for them in 2026. While no deal is in place, the Steelers gave Rodgers the $15 million unrestricted free agent tag last month as a placeholder. NBA playoffs round 2 last night. The New York Knicks take a 2-0 series lead over the Philadelphia 76ers after winning 108-102. Game 3 is in Philly on Friday. Then the nightcap, the Spurs dominated the Timberwolves 133-95, handling Minnesota, their worst playoff loss in franchise history. Game 3 shifts to Minnesota on Friday. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning. Beautiful day. Beautiful start to the day. Hope you're off to a great start. We're here to get you through the next 3 hours, Robert and me. We've got some Greg Cosell audio to get to. We talked about the division. It's always, do you go back and look at the draft after the draft is over? We can have these conversations now, buddy. It's a safe space. Lucas isn't here to hurt you anymore, to make you feel bad about being a draft nerd. We talked about good nerds, the good kind of nerds. There's good nerds in football, good nerds in Star Wars. May the 4th be with you earlier this week. But do you go back and look at the draft after the fact just to kind of see, all right, what did I miss that the Miami Dolphins did?
Usually I give it a beat. Like, I kind of just let it sit for a little bit before I go back and look at it. It's kind of like a disgusting night out where you're just a little drunker than you thought you'd be, and you wake up the next day and you're like, what did I say that? That wasn't me. Did I do that? Like, I don't want to look at the draft. I don't want to think about all the reaches or good picks. I just want to let it sit for a little bit. And then in August, I'll go, oh, yeah. I forgot they did this. Like, what else did they do? Oh.
In August. Okay. So like that one guy that called in to the show, I think it was right before training camp. We were doing the segment, oh no, right? You tell us what in sports made you say, oh no. And it's right before the Titans were getting ready to come back for training camp in the middle of the summer. And the guy's submission for oh no was, have you guys seen this Titans roster? As if, for 3 hours a day, we haven't been talking about that very same Titans roster. It's like, man, damn, I just checked back in. That's tough. It's like 2 seasons ago. So it's one of those type of situations. So in this situation, you going back and looking back at the draft is kind of like your camera roll after a night out, or maybe your text messages. Or maybe my Uber receipts based on your nights out.
Maybe. Maybe. You hadn't bought me an Uber in a while.
Pretty sure I paid for them all weekend.
You were in those. I thought you were talking about the Ubers where you have to buy me an Uber because my phone's dead.
Where I send you home.
Yes. All right. Get him out of here.
Get away from me. Just get out of here.
I need to start taking fish oil pills.
I do. It's not helping.
It doesn't help your memory?
I mean, buddy, I'm doing my best.
And dude, I feel like my mind gets wiped. I am a habitual non-photo taker. Like, I will go on really great trips. Me and Cheyenne will go somewhere. We'll go to Baltimore for the weekend or Florida or wherever the hell we end up at.
You can't lead with Baltimore. We'll go somewhere for the weekend.
For a Ravens game. But it'll be like, we'll go to like a Jimmy's Seafood tailgate. We'll go to a Ravens game. But no, there's nothing. I have no photos. My photos are all stock pictures of Titans players from all the thumbnails I make. Like, I need to go through my camera roll and delete all of the crappy thumbnails, all of the Imogen pictures from Daily Times or whoever the hell takes those things. I am terrible about remembering to take pictures.
We are going to get into a number of different topics today. I want to start with that Knicks game last night because the Knicks are now up 2-0 in their series. I know we don't talk a lot of NBA, but I'm really curious about how people feel about playoff basketball versus regular season basketball, I'm talking a lot of regular season basketball now doing the Fox show. And so we hardly ever bring that over here. The Knicks are always a phenomenon. They go up 2-0 in their second round in the NBA playoffs here against the Sixers. Sixers are without Embiid last night. It's a much closer game than game one. Game one, the Knicks absolutely dominate the 76ers. Last night it was 108-102. But the Knicks get the 2-0 lead. Embiid is again missing time. He had like an emergency appendectomy in their series against the Celtics. Have you been paying attention to this at all? I know you were talking to me about the Raptors game the other day, and I did not watch the Raptors game.
Oh, yeah, they got demolished. It was just pitiful.
You're a Raptors fan, right?
I am, but it's not for like a cool reason. I just liked Vince Carter, and I was in college, and all my friends were playing Blacktop on 2K, and you'd have to pick legends. I would pick Vince Carter because I liked the purple dinosaur, and then I started watching them. And
these are good enough reasons.
It was fun. It was fun. I also liked Nene. Do you remember Nene?
Hell yeah.
I really liked Nene. I would always take him on Blacktop, and people would be like, why the hell are you taking Nene?
Weird choice by
I just liked his name. I just liked Nene.
So, Embiid misses time in the Celtics series, a series in which they ultimately go on to win because he's got an emergency appendectomy. Last night, he's out with an ankle and a hip injury. The dude misses time. It feels like this is the perpetual discussion point around his career, especially in a game where the 76ers are sticking with him, but they just fade in the fourth quarter without Embiid. And Embiid, when he played in game one, he wasn't anything of consequence, really. And you had Tyrese Maxey scoring 26. You did have in this game Indiana Hoosiers legend, OG Anunoby, leave in this game.
Raptors legend. You put some respect on his name.
The Raptors are more
He won a ring with them. He won a ring with them.
I know. He may be the best Indiana basketball player they've put out in the last, 20 years. Like, of all the dudes I thought that were going to be good in the league that did absolutely nothing. I mean, Oladipo was all right for a little while. He got hurt.
Carey put Kenneth Faried in here, the manimal. Yes. Okay, we usually do this with football players, but yes, give me all of the 2010s NBA players.
No, just Raptors.
Yeah. Faried, did Faried play for the Raptors? I would have been all in on that.
Anyway, so if New York, it's just the second round, okay?
Oh, my God, Kenneth Faried is still playing.
Where?
In Greece at Panathinaikos, BC.
Is that like the place where Rick Pitino went to coach when he was banished from Louisville?
Oh, my God. And
you remember that?
In 2025.
People don't talk about that enough.
He played for the TSG Ghost Hawks, which is a Taiwanese professional basketball team.
Hey, man, they pay.
This is awesome. Every year he's in a different city. Oh, this is I should have been a basketball player. I should have been like a little scrappy two guard who just came in and gave you some good D and then could potentially shoot a three or two. That's what I should have done.
What do you look like playing basketball? I'm dying to know.
Dude, you may not think this, but I am very, very bad at basketball. But I'm scrappy. I play good defense.
Scrappy is not what you want.
When you
You're
play
just
rec
out here
ball,
fouling the hell out of people.
When you play rec ball, it is not the guys who know how to play basketball that play the best defense. It is the guys that are scared to death of the unknown, like me. I don't know what you're doing. You're going to go between my legs. You're going to nutmeg me? I don't know. I'm scared to hell. My arms are always out. I'm jumping. I hadn't played basketball in a minute, but I would love to play a game where Slay is on my team.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to set screens for Slay. Just let Slay just attack.
Can Slay play anymore with his knees? No, with his knees.
Yes, he can play.
He just had a knee replacement.
We should have a wheelchair basketball tournament then.
I mean, he'd still whip all of our asses.
He'd still be dunking. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I thought he was moving pretty well on the stage. Again, I don't know what his post-op situation has been. I know he's been shooting a lot of TV commercials for Bart Durham, but beyond that, I don't know what Slay's doing on the court these days. I just know his knees. It has to be difficult to do anything pre or post knee replacement.
I bet he could do it. Slay, let me know if you want to play some 2v2s. You got some dudes out there running their mouth. You let me know. Big Ball and Burt got you back. The triple B, baby.
Got your back. You imagine the two of you walking out there on a basketball court together?
It would be like the newest redo of Twins. It's like Arnold and Danny, me and Slay. We are brothers for the month of March, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Well, because Ramon disparaged March Madness. Ramon disparaged basketball.
Why?
So for the month of March...
Disparaged March Madness?
You'd have to bring it up with Ramon. I don't ask questions when Ramon says you're my brother for the month of March. I just let it happen. But apparently Ramon had some disparaging remarks about basketball and how whiny their players are, and Slay took issue to that.
What?
And they weren't brothers for a full month.
The audacity.
Can't believe it.
I think that's the first position that I've taken against Ramon Foster. You can't have that. Anti-March Madness.
I'm still on. I like both of them.
I do too.
I like both.
Somebody on the YouTube chat, you can interact with the show. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to get involved there. You also have the F&M Bank Chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch if you would like to participate, where somebody asks, have we talked about Diana and Mike on the boat yet?
Hold on. Hold on, guys. Now, look, every time something new happens...
Why is there still more new stuff?
We're not doing this. We're not... I'm going to step in. Buck, if Buck says it, it's a problem. So if I say it, it's not going to be a problem. We'll talk about it today at 10:45.
Every time I open TMZ Sports, how is there new stuff?
At 10:45, because you weren't here for me to fill this out, and now it's too late to replace it with anything.
I showed up at 10:40 or 9:45. I was here.
At 10:45, we will discuss who is the BBOAT.
What the hell does that mean?
Who is the best boat of all time?
Best boat of all time?
Yes. Yes, what best boat of all time? Think about all of the boats that shaped the history of this country. The Titanic, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
You're not going to include this story in that conversation.
Well, I mean, I think it's worth a conversation of where that boat ranks in the history of all of the boats of all time. I'm sure we'll get some audience submissions. 615-737-1045, 1045 for the conversation of best boat of all time.
What do you want to do? Just mix them into today's show like we're bobbing and weaving throughout coordinator discussion and then being, all right, say your favorite Nina, Pinta, Santa Maria.
No. We'll just discuss it. We'll just discuss the best boat of all time. And I will give a hat tip to the morning show. If you missed it, they had a conversation. They drafted goats this morning, greatest of all time.
So you're stealing their subject matter.
No, I'm not stealing. We're not drafting. We're just
boat.
It says BBOAT. Best boat of all time. And get into the merits of where does the Titanic rank?
They said Black Pearl. They're already starting.
Oh, Black Pearl, great boat. They get the message. This is why I mess with the audience members. They
Noah's
get it.
Ark, great submission. Okay, I'm in.
The Stugatz from Sopranos. You guys understand.
I'm in on this game.
You guys understand.
They're playing the game well. That's why I'm in on this game. This feels like something that would be ripe for the chat to do well with. It feels like it would be a phone call disaster.
Nope. They're going to do well.
I've been really disappointed with the callers.
Everybody save your submissions. 10:45. We will discuss the greatest boats of all time. And also, that's Mike Vrabel and Diana having that boat is probably the second biggest sex scandal that happened on a boat. Rhett Bryan reminded me.
It's not a sex scandal.
It doesn't have to be. We don't know what happened on that boat.
Have
you ever heard of the Vikings Love Cruise?
Vikings Love Cruise?
I will read a submission from the Wikipedia page. That will also be at 10:45 today. The show will end after 10:45. I have put all of my effort into 10:45.
Okay, seriously. How much longer is this going to go on?
It's not going to end, dude. That's the sad part.
How?
It's not going to end. Because
when have you seen a story like this where it doesn't stop?
I think it's because it's a slow bleed. It's like you a little bit comes out.
Or is it just like, I mean, again, the reported timeline is 6 years. And I don't know. Are people interested? Maybe I put it on a poll. Are people actually interested in this story? Is there an outsized level of interest in this story here because of the figures involved? Or is this something that media is very interested in? Because I feel like there's equal amounts of interest and gossip type of stuff on the media side of things And, it's not like we're above that. We do the reckless speculation sound, and then we basically say whatever we want without much consequence, right? No, I don't want that.
It's on the board now.
No.
Yeah.
I want it to go away.
But I mean, not to be like we're some kind of philosophical geniuses in here, but I do think that's part of the human condition. Like over the last, 10 years with reality TV, Love Island, all of this gross, nasty stuff that ends up coming out, the juicy details, the guy running across the beach for the Spanish version of Love Island because there's a video of his girlfriend and a guy in, no! Mauricio! And him running across the beach. I just think that's what we're into now. And I don't know if I like that. It's kind of weird. It's kind of gross.
People are, because listen, if there's a football angle that's worth talking about here, I'm open to talk about the football angle. But like one of the first comments that I saw when we started primetime last night was, any comment on the Mike and Diana boat situation? I was like, I don't know, man. I hope they had a great time. I don't care. I care to an extent. We've talked about it, obviously. I don't know why people are still interested in that side of it. If there are football components of it, because somebody brings up the idea of the Julio trade now being the subject, is there some kind of conspiracy theory? Can you give me the reckless speculation sound whenever you get done doing whatever you're doing? That's not...
Dadgummit.
That's not the right one.
Fat fingers.
That's not.
I hate when that happens.
Give
me a second. I was in the middle of something.
Maybe be good at your job. No.
Hang on, the chat couldn't hear it. Hold on.
Tighten the help up. Make it stop.
Gator Mike wants to talk about my basketball skills. Gator Mike, what's going on?
Buck, don't be surprised with Bert. Bert would either be, he would come across as two different people. He would either be Sandy Lyle from Along Came Polly, making it rain, not, or he would be the scrappy white guy like Kurt Rambis used to be for the Lakers.
Oh, just out here elbowing people in the face with his rec specs on?
Right, correct. But Bert would be shockingly, that guy that would be, you get him with a good teammate like Slay, I think he gets it done.
The only thing that he gets done is using all of his fouls.
In the first quarter. I would be the goon, dude.
They don't have those in basketball.
They would be like, all right, go in there and clip him. Oh, hold up. Oh, back elbow. Hit it. Duck the line. Off the top. Eddie Guerrero, frog splash. We're in there.
All right. Just quickly. People are now alleging. So because of this story, all right, with Vrabel and Diana, Eagles fans are starting their own level of conspiracy theories about was her continued reporting on AJ, again, Titans, Vrabel, Patriots adjacent, did that impact how much noise was made around AJ Brown? Was she used to try and stir things up around A.J. Brown? Falcons fans apparently are now alleging the same thing of Julio Jones as to why they did not receive a first rounder for Julio Jones. I remember Julio Jones, when they acquired him, his hamstrings weren't working before they traded the second round pick for him. And I think it had more to do with the hamstrings than it did. And he was, 30 plus, Julio, at that point in his career. I know that there's an outsized price for wide receivers, and it was worth the risk for a second. You probably don't do that deal if you're asking for a first. It just depends on how much Atlanta actually wanted to move him. I just think people are going down rabbit holes on trying to make this a football story where it's actually, there may be some, but not nearly as much as is as being alleged for all the different rabbit holes that you could go down. It's the perfect story to create this kind of fodder. But until we have more concrete evidence of some kind of, Diana being essentially weaponized in the media by a coach trying to, one, exploit his situation with her to benefit his football team on top of everything else. It's not compelling enough for people. You got to add the extra layers that we have no concrete evidence of whatsoever, other than they were on a boat in Cookville together right before Julio got traded to the Titans. 615-737-1045 is the number. All right. We're going to get into how the Titans draft stacks up with the rest of the AFC South. We haven't looked at past drafts so far in these last couple of weeks, so we'll play you a little bit of the install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films coming up next.
It is about that time for your lunch break, which means Hattie B's Hot Chicken should be in your very near future. At any one of their Middle Tennessee locations on Broadway, the Factory at Franklin, Melrose, Midtown, West Nashville. Even if you're in Geodis Park watching Nashville Soccer Club, you can enjoy Hattie B's Hot Chicken. And the best part is they make it so easy if you download the Hattie B's app. Do you like free things? Do you like free banana pudding? Download the Hattie B's app and you tack on a free banana pudding to your order for pickup or delivery from any one of Hattie B's Middle Tennessee locations. You can do the same at HattieB.com, and you'll be amazed at how generous Hattie B's is at stacking those rewards. Get on it now. Fast forward a few months, and you will be stacked with some free Hattie B's Hot Chicken and bonuses via the app. Looking for a healthy option? The Southern salads are to die for. 2 words, cornbread croutons. Yes, you heard that right. Hot or not, whatever works for you. I would never lead you astray when it comes to food. Go to Hattie B today.
I'm not doing this today. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. This is a banger, though. I love this song. I'm not really a big country music guy, but this is a banger.
Makes me want to be on a boat. I cannot wait until your friends invite you to a boat so then I can glom off of you.
When are you going to get your own clout?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Not hard enough.
Believe me, I know.
I'm tired, all right? But can't use me every time you want to go somewhere. Although that is exactly what we will be taking advantage of because there is no bigger, I don't even know how to say it. I will grift off of anybody with a boat because I don't want a boat. I mean, it would be cool. It would be cool to have a boat, but boat pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
My parents had one, and this is, a monstrosity. The thing is like 35 feet or whatever. So you can't
Hold on.
Okay. That's not
35-footer. Come on, dude.
I'm just saying it takes two people to get the thing out of the.
I'm used to pontoon boats, man, and you talking about a 35-footer. Yeah, last summer on my mother's yacht.
It's not a yacht.
Yeah, it's a yacht to me. It's a yacht bigger than any boat I've been on.
Okay, look this up. How big does a boat have to be to officially be considered a yacht? Because, I don't know, have you been on a houseboat? Houseboat, not a yacht. I mean, they look like it, some of them, if you get, into the really, really ritzy ones.
A boat is typically considered a yacht when it reaches 33 to 40 feet.
Okay, so it's a yacht.
Yeah, it was. It's a yacht bigger than any boat I've ever been on.
That's a pretty good joke. Anyway, my point is, boat, a pain in the ass. The boat gets to be too much after a period of time, or it's just a hassle, trying to do the whole thing. So, yeah, I'm going to grift off anybody with a boat that I can. We're not here to talk about boats. We're going to do that in the next segment. But in this segment, we are going to talk about how the Titans draft stacks up with the rest of the AFC South. We haven't talked about these other teams, and we wanted to play you a clip, not the whole thing, but a clip from this morning's install. By the way, we're going to give you the live show version on Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to have it split into two parts. I haven't told Robert this yet. So essentially, I'm going to tell Robert that this is what I want to do, and Robert's going to either do it or
give it to somebody else to do. Yeah.
Get somebody else
I'll
to do it. Make sure they're competent. Either way, we're going to have a two-part install, audio, Saturday, Sunday, in the install feed. And what I'm going to do, Robert, is I want part one in the live show podcast feed. And then for part two, they can either watch it on YouTube or they can go to the actual install podcast page. Because I know we do tend to put all of the install episodes just on the radio show podcast feed.
We could talk about this.
No. I want to talk about this now.
So Greg Cosell this morning talking about the AFC South draft.
Go. Welcome into the install with Greg Cosell of NFL Films. Greg, we have not yet put the live show from last week in the podcast feed for people to hear or for people to watch on YouTube, but just to kind of put a bow on it, and you will hear that episode this Saturday in the podcast feed for the audience, and you'll be able to see it on the Zone's YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. Just such a kick-ass event, a really fun night, and really appreciative of, one, everybody's generosity for a great cause in Home Street Home, and two, the generosity of Mike Borgonzi for making some time for us, and Joey Borgonzi for putting on a bit of a showcase in terms of scouting and breaking down tape.
Well, you know what I really liked about Mike Borgonzi, and I've gotten to know him, and I love talking ball with him, obviously, and I think you got the sense that he probably enjoyed talking ball with me as well. But just he understood the event, he understood, the importance of fans in the community, because the reality is Nashville is a Titans town. It's an NFL town, and for the most part, and it's clear that Mike understood that and was just really forthcoming in talking about the draft picks. And I asked him a little bit about philosophy. He was great about that as well. You didn't get the sense that he was buttoned up and tight-lipped. You got the sense that he was enjoying the crowd and enjoying being with the people and explaining, how it all worked.
No, I think he was tickled, right? He made the joke up there about feeling like he was on the NFL matchup with you and Sal Pal.
That's right. And which, of course, I really appreciated, since that's been my baby for a long time, since since I created it well before you were born, Buck, so it made me feel pretty good.
Absolutely. So we look forward to the audience being able to listen to that. Again, it was a great night, a lot of good analysis there. And like Greg said, going into the event, as we always go into the event, it's really a conversation about process. And I thought, Greg, that
Right.
Mike Borgonzi gave us a really good look into the process, the scouting, the profiling, all the different layers of what it is to add players to your roster
Yeah.
through the draft. And in this, for a team like this, in such a wide swath of free agents and trade acquisitions that they made, to try and really get this thing back to baseline competitive as soon as they can.
And I really enjoyed the story he told too about Anthony Hill. And again, we don't know who's going to be a good player, who's going to be a bad player. That's not really relevant right now. I mean, obviously, teams draft players and they think they're going to be good players. All teams think that way when they draft players. But I thought, they moved down 9 spots, and he talked about the process and about how, they really wanted this player. And all of a sudden, he's still sitting there after some other linebackers are taken. And there's another team, I think he mentioned Denver, who drafted, I think, 62nd or 63rd. And he just made the point that, hey, we were concerned that Denver, was going to take him. And we really liked this player and we really wanted him. And you know what? You just decide you got to go get him. And, and that just also speaks to the fact that this whole idea of, well, you could have gotten him, 10 picks later. No one knows the answer to that. And Mike talked about that. If you want a player, you got to go get him. And obviously you don't go get him to the point where you're drafting a guy 10th that is 60th on your board. But, we don't know exactly where Anthony Hill was on their board. He didn't say exactly. That's irrelevant. But it's a player they wanted in this defense. So you know what? You got to go get him.
Yeah, so you guys can check out that episode in the podcast feed and on the YouTube channel this Saturday. We're looking forward to getting some great feedback. Of course, you can always let Greg and I know how much you enjoyed the show on social media. So speaking of, given that philosophy and that specific Anthony Hill story, because it was like that for Keldrick Falk as well, right? They identified a player at the back of the first round, and they went up and got him. I think that we're going to talk today about the AFC South, the rest of the AFC South. And I don't know, Greg, if there's a more polarizing example of that in this year's draft than the Jacksonville Jaguars, from the way that people viewed their draft, understanding that, the things, the immediate draft grades, the consensus big boards and things like that, these are not relevant to NFL teams. But it does seem like James Gladstone definitely had his own trajectory here versus what was otherwise thought to be common knowledge about some of the players that they added.
And you know what? And you know me well enough to know that's okay. That's the way they saw it. And don't forget, it's not just James Gladstone. He's the face of it because he's the GM. But he's not doing this by himself. And you heard even Mike Borgonzi talk about the scouts. There's a lot of people involved in evaluating players. And just because the people on TV, and obviously I would probably be considered in that group because, I do shows and talk about players, but I always talk about it in terms of how I evaluate the players, not where a guy should go in a draft. I don't even think like that. I just love the process of evaluation. So for me, that part's not relevant. So they obviously evaluated players the way they did, and then they drafted them just because, and again, no knock on anybody on TV, guys like Mel Kiper, and Daniel Jeremiah and Louis Riddick, they're great at what they do. That's not the point. But the point is, just because it doesn't match up with what they think doesn't automatically mean it's a poor draft choice. This is the way that the Jaguars evaluated players and saw them in the context of their needs. And you know what? Time will tell.
Yeah, and time always tells is basically the theme of draft class evaluation, right? You start talking about whether these are a success or a failure 3 years minimum after the fact. But the Jags are just in such an interesting spot, Greg, they lost to the Bills in the first round last year in the postseason. It was a really well-played game, I thought, on both sides. We talked about how efficient Josh Allen was in that specific game and how that allowed the Bills to just win in the margins that way against a really talented Jacksonville team. So they're sitting atop this division right now, and with the players that they've added and also being able to retain both coordinators under Liam Cohen in his first year. I know both guys interviewed for jobs but ended up coming back to the Jags. I wonder how you view them and what Jacksonville did really well and what Jacksonville is going to be focused on trying to improve moving forward into 2026.
Couple of things just to hit them quick, and
Yeah.
again, we have all summer, so if we don't get through every team, in the AFC South, we certainly can come back to it. But a couple of things stood out to me. Number one, I thought that it was clear that Trevor Lawrence, as the season progressed, became more and more comfortable in Liam Cohen's offense. And I know Liam's not the offensive coordinator, but it's his offense. And I think that offense, because he initially came from the Rams, it's that kind of offense. It really presents clean, defined reads. It allows your quarterback to play within structure effectively. And I thought it was clear that Trevor Lawrence got better and better as the season progressed. Now, as of now, as we talk about this, early in May, they've kept all their wide receivers, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, who had a very, very good season. So they've got their wide receivers. They've got an interesting tight end group. I'm very anxious to see the further development of Brenton Strange, a Penn Stater who was their second-round pick a couple of years ago, who I think can be a quality tight end in this league. So, I think offensively, they're set up pretty well. Obviously, they lost ATN, but Tootin showed last year. The back from Syracuse, LaQuinn Allen, played a lot in passing situations. I think they're probably comfortable with what they have at the running back position. The other thing just quickly to mention was I thought defensively, and I did some pieces on the matchup show about their defense under Anthony Campanile, and I thought he did such a good job with his pressure concepts. They weren't necessarily high percentage pressure, but boy, when they did, they were really, really good at it, and I really liked what they did. Now, don't forget, they did lose Devin Lloyd, so they're going to have a different inside backer. It'll probably be Ventrell Miller, who did play meaningful snaps for them a year ago. And we know that Travis Hunter is going to play pretty much full-time at corner. So, they're good in the secondary. I mean, this is a solid football team that should continue to improve. What that means in terms of wins and losses, Buck, no one can answer that, early in May. But this is a good team.
Do you agree with the decision? That is an excerpt from this morning's Install with Greg Cosell, the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Again, the live show with Mike Borgonzi that we did for charity last week will be available to you this weekend. I think I'm going to ask Robert or whoever Robert decides to delegate to put that on the feed on maybe one part Saturday, maybe one part Sunday. Maybe we get a little cute with it.
Maybe I just put them all up right now.
No.
Just stack them.
No.
Just stack it up.
No, that's not how that's going to go.
Well, you just let me know your details, and I will get them however it suits your fancy.
I like to come up with things on my own and then expect you to be able to know how I want them done.
Yeah, I live with somebody like that.
That's my preferred management style.
That expects me to be a mind reader, and just know what would be best for our case. I love you, baby. Not you, Cheyenne. I love you, too.
How do you want to tease this next segment?
Give us your calls, 615-737-1045. We are going to discuss and figure out and get to the bottom of who is the BBOAT, the best boat of all time.
Next. If your energy's off, if things aren't working like they used to, you're not alone. Happens to a lot of guys as you get up there in age. Body starts to change. It's a natural part of the process, but it doesn't have to be inevitable. The Tennessee Men's Clinic, powered by Men's Pro, is here to help you if you're dealing with any of those issues. And what you'll love about them is that they've been doing this for years. They're not just the newest fly-by-night place or sketchy online pill. You're working with true medical providers. They run labs, build a plan around you, not some one-size-fits-all type of deal. They treat low performance, ED, weight loss, and even peptides like NAD+. Their treatments have worked for thousands of men, and most guys say they wish they would have come in sooner. Right now, your lab panel and consultation, just $99. So call them today, 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. We're not on a boat.
God, I wish.
That'd be nice. Can we do the show on a boat?
Who out there wants to get... If there's
Kirby.
a way, Kirby will figure it out. We need to do the show on a boat this summer.
But like a nice boat. Not like
flippy floppies?
Not like a pontoon boat.
Flipping copies. Dude, Lonely Island had bangers, dude. But we don't have time to get bogged down by Lonely Island.
Okay, very good. We are talking about boats because the latest edition of the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini Times. How many more stories like this have to come out before he's in danger of losing his job? Does the limit exist?
No, Mean Girls, the limit does not exist. I don't think that there's a number of things that could come out.
What if he coaches this season and has a losing record? I think at that point, anything's on the table.
I think Robert Kraft loves him, and I don't know if there's any correctness to the fact that he's trying to shut this story up. Like he tried to go to, who was it, Page Six or whoever, and get them to not run the photos.
They tried to put the kibosh on the story. Not just that. You know who owns Page Six? Rupert Murdoch. It's Bob Kraft negotiating with Rupert Murdoch. Like, that's the kind of people we're dealing with here.
They don't make Ruperts or Murdochs anymore.
No, thank God. Anyway, so we're talking about this because TMZ Sports put out you can call it a report, whatever, last night. Vrabel and Diana rented a private boat together for a day on the water, just the two of them. This is on TMZSports.com. The NFL duo booked the vessel in Putnam County, Tennessee, back in June 2021. According to a source with direct knowledge, who also says the then Tennessee Titans head coach and the journalist were the only two people aboard the boat for the 2 to 3 hour rental. The timing of that outing might raise a few eyebrows because Rossini was pregnant at the time with her first child. I don't know why that might raise eyebrows if she was already pregnant. Anyway, documents obtained by TMZ Sports show both signed the company waiver before heading out onto the lake, and our source says there was no visible PDA before they departed. We're also told Vrabel and Rossini appeared cautious about photos being taken, and while she declined to pose at all with the staff, Vrabel agreed to snap one pic but asked that no images be publicly posted. It then goes on to talk about Diana and at what point she was married to her husband and at what point they had children. It's not directly, TMZ is not directly drawing a connection between a potential paternity conflict of Diana's children, but they seem to be doing everything but making a direct connection in this. I don't think that is something that you should play around with. And I know that there's going to be jokes, but I don't think that's something you should even hint at if you don't have some kind of smoking gun out there that you're prepared to. I think it's wrong. Anything involving the kids feels wrong. All of it, but on both sides. So anyway, they were on a boat.
I can't believe he didn't have a friend who he could just be like, hey, man, can I just take your boat out? Like, I don't want to have to rent this thing and sign it and have her sign it. Like,
that's the thing. It's like the pictures at the casino and the pictures at the boat rental. Like, they just didn't care. Nobody seemed to care.
I mean, they cared enough to try and hide it, but not enough to.
I don't know, man. All this stuff is just, I think, Anyway, we don't have to get bogged down in this again. Long story short, these pictures are out there, but people haven't thought anything of them because I guess they just assumed that Diana and he were married. So anyway, what do you want to do with this? Because it's just another, I don't know what it means, but it's just another one of these things on TMZ.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out where that boat, the what would we call this? The SS affair? Where does the SS affair...
The SS alleged affair.
The SS alleged affair stand in the history of all of the boats. I mean, think about the modern marvels that we've created. The Christopher Columbus's ship, the Mayflower, or Titanic, Noah's Ark. So many famous boats. We have a number of submissions from the callers. But first, I want to put this into perspective that this is not even close, not even tangentially next to the biggest boat scandal in NFL history.
No, nothing involving Cookeville, Tennessee can be one of the biggest boat scandals in history.
Have you heard of the Minnesota Viking boat party scandal?
Oh, somebody with a much better name submission.
Oh, what'd they give it? Do
you want to take one guess before I read this? The SS something.
Nah, just give it to me.
The SS Sedona.
Yep. We'll always have Sedona.
It was right there.
In October 6th of 2005, an alleged sex party occurred on Lake Minnetonka with 17 members of the Minnesota Vikings football team, including Dante Culpepper, Fred Smoot, and a number of other players. Bryant McKinney, Pat Williams, a bunch of dudes. Nate Burleson. TV's on. Two houseboats.
Yeah, well, TV's on Nate Burleson. Nobody's above the DMs is what I'm going to say, okay?
2 houseboats were rented, and some, but not all, of the players performed sexual acts in front of the crew members. Sex workers from Atlanta and Florida were flown in for the party. There were at least 90 people on the 2 boats, and Smoot later estimated that there were 100 women present. An anonymous former player of the Vikings claimed that this is not the first time that such an incident had happened. Allegedly, photographs were taken at the party showing people engaging in sexual intercourse. 4 of the players were charged with misdemeanors related to the event. Later, commentators pointed to the scandal as a key event in the history of the team, leading to the firing of head coach Mike Tice, who was replaced by Brad Childress. So not even close, guys. Wow. Not even close to the biggest boat scandal. I think we'd have to name the Giants boat scandal with OBJ and all those dudes wearing their Timbs off the front of that little yacht. And then
Their Timbs. That's the best part. Boys, why do you have your Timberlands on?
Not your flippy floppies. Come on, man. Come on.
I might submit that it's not even the biggest Titans adjacent boat scandal that we've had in even the last 5 years.
Educate me.
All right. So you are familiar with Isaiah Wilson?
Yes. Big Panda.
Isaiah Wilson.
Just Panda?
It was Big Panda.
Okay.
So Big Panda, Isaiah Wilson, first-round draft pick of the Titans in 2020. And he is – so the issues are not yet public. I had, when I was still doing like this kind of reporting, I had reported that Isaiah Wilson had gotten his first DUI, where he was doing donuts in the middle of Charlotte Pike after margarita night. Okay? And this was, I don't know, like 2 weeks after he got here.
As one does.
As one does. So
anybody down for donuts and margs? That sounds like a great
Not
day.
those kind.
When you come to Tokyo.
How many Hellcats can one human being wreck is the question for Isaiah Wilson.
That should have been his animal name. He should have been the Hellcat and not the Panda.
He was in one. He was in several. The limit does not exist on the Hellcats. Anyway, so his problems that are not discovered during the season because it's COVID. We can't get anywhere around these things. And the only reason that I find out about any of this after the first DUI is because people are just sick of his crap. Like, people in the building are losing their minds that this player is so actively useless on a number of fronts. So he gets put on the NFI list, non-football injury list, where he's essentially, they're just like, get him out of here. It's right around New Year's. It's towards the end of the season. It might have been right before the final week of the season. So they put him on this list, and they're like, all right, we're just no more questions about Isaiah Wilson, no more issues with Isaiah Wilson. We're just going to put this on ice. Except Isaiah did the opposite of putting anything on ice. He went to Miami, rented a boat for New Year's Eve with a bunch of strippers. And are you familiar with Instagram's function of close friends on your story?
Oh, yeah.
Isaiah did not realize that everybody was on his close friends, so he was posting these things on his close friends version of his Instagram story, except the entire world could see all the things that Isaiah Wilson was doing on a yacht on New Year's Eve during COVID in Miami with the strippers while on the non-football injury list. Isaiah Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
Unfortunately,
the Panda.
We are going to have to roll this. We have some Brian Daboll stuff that we were going to do at the top of the 11.
No. Just take one.
No,
take one now.
Let's do that at 11 and then push Daboll to 11:20.
You just really don't want to work today, do you?
Stay on the phone lines. We're going to get to your boat calls. I want to know your submissions. We are going to find out the greatest boat of all time today. I'm Buck Reisig. It's 104.5 The Zone. 11:02, good morning. Live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Down Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Developing news story this morning in the NFL per Ian Rappaport. Free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers is expected to visit the Steelers on Friday, and Rodgers likely to play for them in 2026. No deal is in place, but the Steelers gave Rodgers the $15 million unrestricted free agent tag last month as a placeholder. NBA playoffs round 2 on Wednesday as the New York Knicks take a 2-0 series lead over the Philadelphia 76ers after winning 108-102. Game 3 is in Philly on Friday night. Then the nightcap, Spurs dominated the Timberwolves 133-95, handling Minnesota and giving them their worst playoff loss in franchise history. Game 3 shifts to Minnesota on Friday. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5. Aye, Captain. The Zone.
So dumb.
You thought that was dumb.
What are you about to do?
Hey! No. In the Navy. In the Navy. In the Navy.
Oh, the chat can't hear any of that, right? We're just dancing around in silence like idiots.
Yeah. Such a banger. I love the Muppets version of it, by the way, if you've never seen it.
It's really good. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Yes, there is another TMZ report about Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini in Putnam County, Tennessee, renting a boat together and alleging or hinting at all manner of other things relative to the nature of their relationship as this story never ends. So Robert has decided to take your submissions for the best boats of all time. I don't think that boat, this most recent boat, this specific boat in Cookville needs to be of any infamy other than it's just another. I mean, what is this, chapter number 75 in the ongoing TMZ salacious saga of an NFL insider and an NFL head coach who, by the way, when's his next press conference?
I think he would sooner join the Navy.
I mean, buddy, yeah. God. Inside the NBA already put him in the Navy. They put them both in the Navy.
They knew. What did Inside the NBA know that we didn't know?
God. So anyway, we're taking your submissions for the best boat of all time. We will do so here in just a second because the lines are loaded, naturally, as they would be for a story like this. I do want to get to a little bit of information here. The Vikings, Minnesota Vikings. This is technically breaking Titans news, but I don't think it's worthy of the laser light sounder.
Breaking Titans news on 104.5 The Zone.
Adam Schefter reporting the Vikings have requested general manager interviews with, amongst others, 49ers assistant GM R.J. Gillen and Titans assistant general manager Dave Ziegler. All right. So Dave Ziegler going to interview for the opening with the Minnesota Vikings. And I only mention it, I don't know how caught up people get in assistant GMs. I'm sure most of you know that Dave Ziegler has been in the NFL for a long time with the Broncos, with the Patriots, was then the Raiders GM for like a season and a half, 2 seasons maybe, in the middle of all that, then came here as the assistant GM after a year in New Orleans. And this also happens to coincide, I think more coincidentally, with are we calling it a mutual parting of ways for Chad Brinker?
I think it was not mutual. I think he was just leaving on his own accord, right?
Okay, well.
Which, I wonder what the financial ramifications are. That do you forfeit your whatever money grown people make at their jobs?
I think if he's not breaking a contract, then they don't have to buy him out. Or if they're not breaking his contract, they don't have to buy him out. So he can do them a favor by not getting fired, essentially, and choosing to pursue his own opportunities and save them some money, if he so chose to do that. Now, the Brinker thing, I think, is it's telling that they're not replacing him, is all you need to know about that. You can argue whether Chad Brinker got to walk out of a burning house on his own, if Chad Brinker was actually fired and they just dressed it up a little bit. There's plenty of reasons to speculate on a number of those fronts, but all you have to know is Chad Brinker's no longer here. Mike Borgonzi is still here. Dave Ziegler may not be here after a while. I think Ziegler, I'm speculating, I think Dave would probably like to be a GM again if he got another opportunity. Otherwise, he wouldn't be interviewing for GM jobs. I also wonder what that means for Reggie McKenzie, because that was definitely a Brinker person in Reggie McKenzie. So are we going to see yet another front office restructuring? And is Mike Borgonzi just eventually going to become what John Robinson was at the end of J-Rob, which is not quite all-powerful because that's ownership, but having a lot more oversight on things outside of just personnel, that when they made the decision to break up this job the way that they did and bring in all of these extra hands and extra insights, which I didn't necessarily disagree with. It hasn't gone well. Maybe it will at some point bear fruit. But I didn't disagree with that job being pretty big in the modern day NFL and you finding a number of different people to assist you in doing that job. Maybe Mike Borgonzi feels like he doesn't need it. I don't know. Be curious to see what that means for the future of the Titans front office structure. Anyway, best boats of all time. I mean, I feel like I feel compelled to start with Brennan and Dale.
Famously.
Right? I mean, they are famously a part of a company regarding one of the most famous boats of all time.
Prestige worldwide.
Go Brennan and Dale.
Yep. Dale Doe back here.
Yes?
Hello? Yes, this is Dale Doback. I'd like to put the SS Santa Maria up for the best boat. Mike Vrabel did rent our boat out. We kept it under wraps for quite some time. But, with the leakage of everything else, they were on our boat as well, too. Diana asked not to be in our video, as you just said, boats, and you know the rest of it. But please stream our song, and that is our submission for the best one. Prestige worldwide.
The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
His limited fake Dale Doback impression could use some work. The content was good. The impression was lacking.
Me and Sloan Kettering, we were blazing that stuff every day. And I'm not going to call him Dad even if there's a fire. I love that movie.
It will surprise you none to know the first time I watched that movie, I was in like 7th grade, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't get it. And then I had to rewatch it. No, I know. Now it's one of the few moments that I will admit I was stupid. That was on me. Should we mix these in throughout the course of the show? How do you want to do this?
No,
I'm just going to sit here taking boat calls.
No, let's get them going, man. They've been waiting.
Henry is in Antioch.
Hey, Buck. Hey, Bert. Longtime Mariner, first-time caller. My best boat submission has got to be the Argo, the boat Jason took on his hunt for the Golden Fleece.
Excellent submission. Excellent submission. This is what we do this for.
We're going Greek mythology. I saw somebody say the boat that the former Florida coach was on, Jim McElwain, the Jim McElwain shark humping boat, submitted as most famous boats of all time. I saw that one in the YouTube chat. There were some good ones in the YouTube chat. Bobby is in Nashville.
Love Boat. Mike Vrabel and Diana would have been great on there.
The Love Boat?
Yes.
The Love Boat, yes. It's a good submission.
Who would have been, would have been Tattoo?
When's the last time you've seen an episode of The Love Boat?
Oh, it's been a minute.
My grandparents used to watch that religiously.
Dude, TV Land raised me.
Bangers.
Raised me, dude.
Bangers only. One more boat call.
No, come on, dude. There's like 7 in there. Just let's go rapid
How
fire.
many?
Let's go rapid fire.
All right, fine. Is it Maurice?
Maurice.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
I'm going to go with the most famous boat has to be the SS Minnow. And not because of Crass, but because of Ginger and Marianne.
Yes, the professor and Marianne.
Gilligan's Island.
Here on Gilligan's Isle. Dude, this is what we do it for. All right, next. Who you want? Titanomics?
Ross.
What you got, Ross?
I got to go the Scarab from Miami Vice.
Ooh.
Okay, good boat, good
That's
boat.
a TV famous
I
boat.
mean, you know, high speed, get the ladies. I mean, it's the quintessential greatest boat.
All right.
Heck yeah, great.
Are we
submission.
doing greatest boat or most famous boat?
No, it is best boat. BBOAT, best boat of all time.
How does Noah's Ark not win best boat?
Well, I don't know. No one has
It
submitted
saved
that yet.
humanity.
Well, it did. It did. Okay.
I win.
That doesn't mean it wins. And what's the best boat of all time?
It does mean that I win. I win.
You're up.
My boat is the boat that my dad bought my mom for their anniversary. It came to us with the name The Naughty, but my mom wanted to make it like special to them, so she made it The Naughty and then added her initials. My dad's name is Bill. My dad's name is Jan. We drove that up and down the Cumberland all summer long before my mom realized.
The Naughty BJ. Excellent. Excellent submission, Ann. Titanomics. What's the best boat of all time? Buck doesn't want to do this anymore, guys, so I just got to clean the phone hopper out.
All right, let me name these in order real quick. Jolly Roger from Peter Pan. Then I say the boat from the Goonies, the Inferno.
Yep.
And then also the boat from Forrest Gump, Jedi. And then the last one, I think somebody already said it, maybe not, the Catalina wine mixer boat.
Okay.
Boating.
Two different boats, but that's okay. I love the submission. It made me think of the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob. The monkey's paw. The monkey. Last one right here. Ryan in Hendersonville. What's the best boat of all time?
The best boat of all time has to be, spoken as a true American, the wooden rowboat that Washington took across the icy Delaware.
Yeah.
There we go. USA, baby.
America.
USA, baby.
USA. USA. USA.
Nobody said the Mayflower.
That one's better.
You like? I do like that.
That's a
one.
good one to finish it with.
It is a good one to finish.
I was
with.
just about to ask you, are you proud of what you just did there?
This is the
What
stuff.
are we going to tell Lucas we did while he was on vacation? Absolutely. He has been dying for us to do shows like this basically all draft season. And the 1 week he leaves, we're just like, whatever, man.
I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm going to let you guys in on Inside Baseball. This is the radio that I like to do. It's fun to talk about sports, but I'd rather just kind of mess around with your buddies where you're sitting in their living room and you've crushed like 4 Coors Lights.
Are you drunk right now?
No. Tune in next week when we figure out what the best dogs of all time are.
I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Just boat songs all day.
Oh, yeah.
Yacht rock. This isn't yacht rock.
This is the Love Boat.
This is the Love Boat. Welcome back
Nancy
to the show.
Walker. Oof.
Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. We will talk some sports at some point today.
Eventually.
Well, but you were, just to put a bow on it for the day, at least, if in conversation, if not musical theme only. You were saying, because my whole thing is, how much more is going to come out? How much, from my standpoint, as a beat writer and reporter covering one team, if I was a Patriots beat writer, reporter, broadcaster, do you buy into at all, if we're doing tinfoil conspiracy theory stuff, the Boston radio hosts at WEEI that were critical of this entire situation who got fired? There was some level of speculation that Scott Zolak, who did not comment on it, retained his job. I don't know if he would have been fired, but there was some kind of conversation around that. There was, the conversation around, is the Boston media being soft on this situation, from a longtime Mike Felger, who's been in Boston reporting around the Patriots, a columnist, sports columnist for a long time, said that the commentary around the situation in the Boston media covering the Patriots have been soft on the Patriots, and specifically Mike Vrabel. Like, I'm trying to think, as a beat writer, when do you stop asking him questions about this? Because to me, it is still relevant. It becomes relevant every time something new comes out. And that's deeply unfortunate, because at a certain point, you're asking somebody who you have some kind of a relationship with, okay? Where you're not friends, but you have a daily working relationship with these people if you're doing these kind of jobs. And so at some point, you're asking a person who you need to have a productive daily working relationship with every day, hey, Mike, can you talk about your alleged affair again, please?
I mean, if they start off slow, they start 1-3, 1-2. I mean, I think it's a question then. Would you say that the offseason storylines and everything you went through in this offseason, has that impacted your level of preparedness, your preparation?
Distracting the team, distracting the players, doing the kind of things that you have cautioned against other people doing in any way, shape, or form. The dreaded distraction, dumb bleep that hurts the team. You can turn all of his phrases against him with this story.
Barsender brings up a good point. Patriots ticket holders gave him a standing ovation. I don't think they care.
Like he beat cancer or something. It was crazy. That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't, and it was the Zolak guy that started it, right? He's on the stage. This is maybe just for people like us that do this for a living. Did you think it was curious that Mike Reese was the one emceeing that event? Mike Reese, the ESPN.com reporter, not like a Patriots employee. Mike Reese is emceeing that event with Scott Zolak and Mike Vrabel, 4-season ticket holders. I thought that was curious.
Well, maybe not really, because, look the Titans had an ESPN reporter host theirs. The Ravens had who is he not with ESPN? The guy that hosted Adam, the guy that hosted it, the guy that came out that was like, nobody thinks the Titans can go
the
worse.
Uniform thing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. I don't know. It's different because Mike Reese is a .com reporter. He's a beat reporter. It would be like me hosting a season ticket holder event, or Tehran hosting a season ticket holder event, which I don't know. Maybe that's not as weird as it would seem, but
no, it would be weird.
Right? Like that seems a conflict of interest to me immediately if you're involved in that. And so Zolak stands up on the stage and starts, getting the crowd up, and the crowd starts standing and applauding. I don't know. It was a weird look.
It's an interesting, cross-reference, because if I was a Patriots fan, I would be like, I just want this to go away. I'm just tired of hearing about this. I would almost be defending Mike Vrabel because I don't want this to impact my team. I wonder if we're going to get to a stage where it's like Patriots fans do not care. Like if Mike was still the head coach here.
There. I think they're defensive. I think it's kind of like we talk about criticism. This is very different. But when I am critical of Cam Ward, I get a ton of blowback, right? Because Titans fans.
And just so people understand, you're not making this a one-to-one. This isn't comparing the same thing. Just about how protective a fan base can be of a player or a coach
Yes, thank you for the clarification, because I'm not comparing these. These are not parallel situations entirely. I'm saying that I think there is an overt reaction, a normal reaction. I'm not saying it's abnormal, even though some of the subject matter can get a little hairy in this particular case. But I do think it's the natural reaction of any fan base to be defensive of the thing that you think is going to impact your favorite team. So if I'm critical of Cam Ward, you're going to say, no, you don't know anything. He's our future franchise quarterback. Why would you try to create any level of discord or whatever when it's not, it's just criticism. It's talking about a quarterback that performed a certain kind of way. In the same way, you talk about, well, this coach is the coach of the year. He took us to the Super Bowl. If he could do that again, I don't care who he allegedly takes on boats and has romantic getaways with and all these different things, right? You'll turn a blind eye if you think it's helping your football team, or you think that thing can still help your football team achieve ultimately what you want the football team to achieve. I do think there's an overt, I don't know. I think this is a more polarizing subject, obviously. But I'm just talking about like from a football media standpoint. At what point do you stop asking him questions about this? Because I think this has to carry through every press conference. And even then, I feel like you have, if there are football legs to this thing, if there is any level of, and I haven't seen this, Austin Stanley sent me a text, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, some level of discussion involving collusion and how two franchises communicated with one another to orchestrate a deal or something like that involved Diana. I don't know, however you would draw the case or create the case for collusion between a coach and a media member to orchestrate some kind of a transaction one way or the other to that specific NFL organization's benefit in the NFL. Could that happen? I don't know. People are coming up with all kind of harebrained ideas in this circumstance, how it could have or did, or making up their own things as they go, because it's an interesting story that you can still find ways to make more interesting if you've got the imagination for it. But if it does if there is more information that comes out that it did impact any kind of transactions regarding the Titans, the Patriots, or any organization that traded with or for players that involved the Titans and the Patriots while Mike Vrabel was the coach, then it becomes a football story. Then you have to keep asking him questions about it, because he's in charge of personnel too. Whatever the hell the Elliott Wolf thing is, I think that if you gave Mike his choice, he'd shove Elliott Wolf in a locker.
Do you think this ends up being a big enough story that the NFL changes their stance on investigating this? Only if someone in ownership feels compelled to bring it back in front of the other owners and say, hey, this impacts us and how we do business, and you screwed with my business model, bleep you, Bob, or whatever. Like, only if the owners feel compelled to keep this in the light would the NFL reopen an investigation into it. The owners don't want extra oxygen on this. I would be interested to know from someone who is like an actual reporter in either Atlanta or Philly, the two cities that are alleging, at least the fan bases, the theory that Diana's reporting around suspected trades for Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. I wonder if people that were associated with those organizations at that time feel like it's a non-story, or they feel like, yeah, our value was definitely impacted by the reporting of this. And I mean, that's what I would want to know. If I was a Pablo, if I was some one of these people that have the connections to talk to those people, the what was the old at Falcons general manager? He used to come on Blaine and Mickey once in a while. Sharp-haired individual. He has like a. You're talking about Dimitrov? Thomas Dimitrov. Yeah. Like, does Dimitrov think? He would have been the GM at the time. That would be worth. I mean, I'm sure Blaine could get in touch with him, but does he think that the value was impacted at all around the trade of Julio Jones? And if that was the case, if it then it's a football story, right? And the
the thing that makes this yet dumber, and I know we said we were going to move on, but again, things come out weekly at this point involving this story to where it keeps generating oxygen, and it's taking place in a time period like the Aaron Rodgers, Robert brought this example up during a commercial break, like the Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat, where we don't have anything else to talk about in the NFL news cycle right now. So it just continues to gain steam that way, especially if you have more things that you can just trickle out there into the universe to make sure that it stays, at least in some part, top of mind. They made it a football story when he had to step away during the draft, because you could have found ways to avoid making it a story that sports networks have to cover. The minute you decide to take a step away during a day of the NFL draft in ways that you've never seen an NFL head coach do before, ever. What's the last example of a coach who could not be with his team during the draft for something that wasn't, life-threatening, if such a case even exists there, right? I've never heard of something like that before. So then you force the sports networks to talk about it as a sports story because you've just added, through your foolishness in your PR handling and decision-making of this, throughout the entire process of this, to do it on day 3 of the draft when it's unavoidable. The draft coverage has to bring it up because they go to the Patriots war room and you're not sitting there because you're where? In Utah. But Peter Schrager is saying the Patriots can get in touch with Mike Vrabel at any point. He's available at any point, even though he's doing counseling. And then Schrager has to, almost retract the report and say, yes, they established a way that they could have a clear process of communicating with Mike Vrabel, but both sides chose not to communicate back and forth as Mike Vrabel continues the counseling for his marriage. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing at every turn? It's a how not to in terms of PR strategy. They should teach classes on how badly this went. You want to talk about Titan stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, buddy.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
We can start with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll had a number of great questions asked to him at coordinator availability. I mean, I thought we'll get to Gus Bradley next hour, which was my favorite as a football nerd. I really feel like he went into the weeds. But Daboll had some great answers about how rookies are going to be deployed, getting him up to speed and all that. And I've got 5 different answers from him, and I think we play one of them, react to it, and see how many we can get through in the hopper.
All right. Brian Daboll, let's hear from him.
And then the draft. We've had the free agency, multiple guys come in, and hopefully they'll do some stuff for us. So then, phase 1 and phase 2, which has been really good to meet a lot of the players that we've had on the current roster or the new guys. Phase 1, it was all meetings. Phase 2, we were out here last week. We had the small mini camp. So it's been a good couple months. The coaches are putting a lot of work in. We got a really good staff. I appreciate the effort that the offensive coaches have put into this. We're still building. It's early. The draft picks, Tate was a good player for us on our board. Again, he's going to have to come in here and earn everything, but has a good skill set, can do a variety of things, contested catches, run routes, very smart. So we were happy to get him, along with the other draft picks and the free agents that we got. So it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun being down here. Really appreciate the opportunity again from Coach Sala, and got a lot of work ahead of us. One more day of rookie camp, so that'll be good.
Versatility is always important, but for Tate in particular, for what you're trying to accomplish, how viable was he for a system fit?
Yeah, I'd say what we are. I think Gilu really liked him, our receiver coach, in terms of the evaluation process. We had him on a 30 visit. Very mature young man, has a good skill set, can do a lot of different things. Again, we're going to have to get him out there and get going with the vets, in a couple weeks when they're coming back. But again, contested catches, can run routes, has good body quickness for a bigger, longer guy, was a productive player, and we're happy we have him.
So that is Brian Daboll starting his media availability. This was Saturday, so I'm sure other shows have talked about coordinator availability at some point throughout the course of the week. I know we were a little late in getting to it, but there's been enough stuff happening that we felt that we could talk about it today. That's Brian Daboll talking about Carnell Tate. And the thing that Robert Saleh has emphasized with us, why I asked that first question, was they are trying to make the wide receivers interchangeable within Brian Daboll's system. Now, obviously, they are not all built the same, where you have Wan'Dale Robinson running around there at 5'8". You have Carnell Tate, who's 6'2". You got Calvin Ridley, who's about the same size, but does very different things as far as what he brings to your offense. Iman or DK, right? They're all different kind of players, but basically the deployment of them, they're just trying to take advantage of matchups as much as humanly possible instead of delegating, okay, Wan'Dale Robinson, you are a slot receiver. That is what you are. This is your home. You live here now. No, they're going to do a number of different things with Wan'Dale Robinson that may not be totally conventional for a 5'8" wide receiver. They had success with it last year in New York. Carnell Tate, he was the most well-rounded receiver in the draft. There's no disputing that. The way that he is talked about as a projection, we don't know what he will be definitively as a pro football player, but as a projection, he is thought of as a low-end wide receiver one. We talked to Mina Kimes, last week ago today, about this very subject. So you draft Carnell Tate 4 overall. He projects as a low wide receiver one. Is that sufficient enough value for the 4th overall pick? It doesn't matter as long as his presence immediately benefits and sustainably benefits Cam Ward. If Cam Ward makes progress as a result of Carnell Tate being a member of the Tennessee Titans, then Carnell Tate with the number 4 overall pick is a success. How Brian Daboll maximizes those abilities, because he's a pretty polished route runner for a college player, right? He's coming in here, he's not dealing with the levels of criticisms that, previous years of Tennessee offense have brought about wide receivers and understanding landmarks and learning all manner of different timing and rhythm things associated with the passing game, operating out of a huddle, all the different basic elements that we consider basic at the NFL level that aren't conventional always in college football. Carnell Tate comes in here as a polished player who can immediately contribute, who becomes one of the 3 best wide receivers on the football team day one. And I think that opens up a lot of different things because he can do a lot of different things. He can play outside. He can play in the slot. Ohio State did it with him. He's comfortable with it.
You want to continue this on the other side?
I sure do. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. I have not listened to Jimmy Buffett since Jimmy Buffett passed away.
My dad is a natural-born parrot head.
Yes. Have you been to a Jimmy Buffett concert?
I went to one on my birthday at the Virginia Beach Military Amphitheater, and it was one of, if not the best show I had ever been to.
The parrot heads are rowdy.
Dude, the amount of women with crab bras and older women, the crowd, I'll send you a picture in the break. It was slap full, standing room only for Jimmy. He's probably in my top 5 favorite artists. Him.
He is dead, right?
Yes.
Okay, somebody said in the chat, Jimmy Buffett died? I was like, oh my God, did I just kill Jimmy Buffett?
Unfortunately.
No, Jimmy Buffett.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett passed away, I want to say 2 years ago. That sounds right. Either way, we were talking about Brian Daboll's media availability in the middle of rookie camp on Saturday. And so we started off with a couple of answers there about Carnell Tate from the Titans offensive coordinator. And then that conversation, are we just doing this sequentially?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so that conversation then dovetailed into, all right, so Tate specifically, he's a versatile player. Where do you start with him? What's home base for him in the offense? We pick up the press conference. That's my bad.
Robert said he'll lead the play everywhere as part of your system. How do you get Tate started? Do you start him at one spot and then grow him into another spot? Or you just kind of splash him into everything from the start?
Yeah, I would say with all the rookies, we're going to have to lay a foundation for them, just the language of it all. So as much as he can handle, as much as they can handle, we'll throw at him. We have to bring them along. The vets are a little further ahead of them. But it is a unique situation for the rookies on our particular team because it's a new coaching staff. So it's new systems. So sometimes you get rookies and they're coming into year 3 or year 4 of the system where the vets are so further ahead of those guys. These guys are only a few weeks back in terms of the meeting time we've been allowed to have with our players. So we'll give him as much as he can handle. He is smart. We try to have all our skill guys, Paul, learn all the spots. So there's 5 eligible receivers on every pass play. The guys that are out there running routes, not just learn one spot to understand the entire system, the scheme that you're running. It's helpful if those guys can learn multiple things.
Brian Daboll talking about the acclimation process for Carnell Tate specifically and bringing a young player in who you have grand designs for all these guys, right? You envision them just as we all do. When your favorite team drafts a player, you envision, I'm sure, most of you, the best case scenario for that player. You draft a first-round pick, you envision a world in which that player sets franchise receiving records or rushing records or touchdown passing records for your team and goes down as a Ring of Honor, all-pro type of guy, right? That's what you envision. You draft a second-round linebacker, you envision the next great defensive rookie of the year or regular defensive player of the year type of contributor, pass rusher, whatever. You envision the best case scenario for all these guys. But you have to first find a place for them to start, to grow, to develop. And then as their comfort level grows, as their familiarity grows, you can give them more on their plate. And you can turn them into that kind of versatile weapon in the case of a wide receiver that you want them to be. But you have to have a baseline operating function there. Now, what that ends up being for Carnell Tate, I don't know. I'm assuming he's their ex-receiver as a starting point, with Robinson, again, as a starting point, primarily in the slot, and Ridley as your Z. Gunnar Helm, Y tight end.
I think it'd be beneficial for, us, and even us as a refresher. Next time we have Nate Washington on, to kind of give everyone an overview of what each position's responsibilities, body types, archetypes, all of that kind of stuff goes into it. Because
can we get Nate?
I would love to get Nate.
Okay.
Just as maybe we do some summer school stuff. Maybe we have Ben come on, talk about terms. I don't know how the audience feels. If you guys feel differently, feel free to voice it. You can give us a call, 615-737-1045. But I like learning those little terms that they use that you may say, oh, I know what that is, kinda. But that would be something interesting I'd like to get from Nate, like his overview of like what is a Z? What does a Z need to look like? What it needs to be in their skill set? How does that differ from an X? But I don't disagree with your early part of that. At least Tate early in his career is probably definitely your X.
So yeah, we'll. I texted Ben today. Ben's golfing today.
Of course, good for Ben.
Yes, it's beautiful outside. He should be on the golf course.
Ben deserves it. Ben can golf every day if he wants to. He's too good of a dad to do that. But if he wanted to, you golf every day, Ben.
I think it's maybe not every day. I think it's most days.
You golf every day, Ben. You a good ass
They're
daddy.
probably listening to us on the golf course.
I love you, Ben. Can't wait for Traders in the fall.
Was he in here with the morning show? Speaking of Traders.
I think he did. I think he was on with the morning show.
Should we start a fight?
No. We do not own Ben. We do not own Ben's likeness. I'm perfectly okay with him sharing his wealth of knowledge with. Also, he's probably better friends with Ramon than he is with us. They've got the O-line brotherhood. Yeah. You should have been an athlete. Should have had a better connection to these guys.
Buddy, if you want to go on a basketball court, we'll find out real quick.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Among us.
As soon as I'm
the one I'm least worried about is Lucas.
Just don't want him to get hurt.
Lucas cannot walk 10 feet without twisting an ankle.
I hope you are unscathed in Madrid or Spain or wherever the hell you are.
He can go
now.
straight to hell.
Yeah,
he can go straight to hell with
that.
no speed. No, he can go straight to the pits of hell.
You don't mean
no speed bumps. What kind of picture did he just text us 20 minutes ago?
Oh, I was mad. I was a little upset. It is a picture of all you foot fetish people out there. It is a picture of Lucas posted up by the pool, a beautiful scene behind him, and his dogs out. Just
free dogs.
Big old dogs. He got some funky looking toes, man. Like I have monkey toes too. Like I can write my name with my foot, but Lucas got some long toes. Every one of his toes looks like a pinky. Like how does your raptor toe look like a pinky? How does that? I got half a mind to post this.
Your raptor toe. Yeah. You know what? Post his feet. Post his feet. No context, or you can provide whatever context.
I think I'm just going to tweet it out at Robbie_Walsh, ROBBY_WALSH.
Okay, not only...
Hit my DM for Lucas feet pics. I got him.
From that to Donna in Dallas. Hi, Donna.
Hey, hon, how are you guys doing?
We're great. Thanks for calling.
Just wanted to say I went to a Jimmy Buffett concert. We were all partying our brains out, having the best time in Nashville. And all of a sudden, 3/4 in, the mayor shows up. We thought, hey, maybe he can sing. And he goes up there and he says, we've got some rain coming. Some bad stuff's happening. Just wanted to warn y'all, I may have to cut this off early. Jimmy's booing. We're all booing. He says, keep on singing. And about, 10 minutes later, the mayor shows up and he's like, get out of here. And we're all leaving. And that was the night of the flood. And we were barely able to get to our big expedition car parked over there by wherever he was performing downtown. I don't even remember, but we had water up to our knees getting into our car, floating back to Brentwood. And we were mad as all get out, like, man, we wanted to stay in Parrot Head away and beach vibe, but we got home and were frightened to see what our house was going to look like the next morning, because that's when the rains came in, and the next day was even worse. But it was the night of the flood. The mayor was there, Jimmy was there, and they got out of there as fast as they could.
Well, thanks so much for the call, Don. I mean, thank God the mayor did come back. Are you familiar with the 2010 flood here?
No, but I will tell you right now, I would have used my body as a vessel to protect Jimmy from whatever that bay. On the front of ships, they have like gilded ladies or whatever, like guiding them. I would do that for Jimmy. He could just ride on my back like a seahorse.
So this is a legendary natural disaster, Nashville natural disaster. I mean, the pictures of downtown, unrecognizable. Now, this is 5 years before I moved to Nashville. But Evansville's 2 hours away. This was a huge deal. If you go and look at the pictures, I'm telling you, it's insane. It was right about this time of year.
Broadway is flooded.
Yeah, no, you can't. Broadway is legit underwater. I mean, this was a catastrophic natural disaster type of event. So they're lucky. They're all lucky that they got cleared out at the time that they did. I don't know if they could have forecast or prognosticated that the river would overrun the banks to that extent, because I don't know that there's ever been, I mean, at least in modern history, I don't think that Nashville has experienced a flooding event that severe at any point, and certainly not in the last number of years. But the 2010 flood is this. I mean, obviously a lot of tragedy, but it's a legendary natural disaster.
These pictures of
crazy
of Opryland, like the Gaylord, like all underwater. Like you understand the inside of the Gaylord has like all the topiaries or whatever you want to call like the beautiful landscape that they have built in there with the plants and whatnot, all underwater. It looks like a beach or a pool cabana walk-up bar. This is insane. I had never heard about this before.
Yeah. So again, fortunate for Donna and the rest of the parrot heads at the time that the mayor came in and cleared the parrot heads out.
You want to fit Tucker in here before we hit the top?
I sure do. Let's go to Tucker and Hermitage.
What up, guys? Just had a quick question that was brought up on Cover 2, I think, yesterday. Do y'all think this is the deepest wide receiver room that the Titans have ever had since they've moved to Nashville? And then, Bert, had a question for you about the, as a Vanderbilt fan, the Diego Pavia situation in Baltimore. What are the percentage chance in your mind of him making the 53 as a third string, or like, is he just going to be more of the P squad guy? What are your thoughts on that overall?
Appreciate the call, Tucker. We'll cover both of those coming up next.
What's going on? Good afternoon from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs Studios. I am Robert Walsh. Some developing news in the NFL this morning per Ian Rappaport. Free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers is expected to visit the Steelers on Friday. Rodgers is likely to play for them in 2026, though no deal is in sight. The Steelers gave Rodgers a $15 million unrestricted free agent tag last month as a placeholder. In the NBA playoffs last night, round 2, the New York Knicks saw their series lead grow by 1 as they took the lead over the Philadelphia 76ers, winning 108-102. Game 3 is in Philly on Friday. Then the nightcap. The Spurs dominated the Timberwolves 133-95, handing Minnesota their worst playoff loss in franchise history. Game 3 shifts to Minnesota on Friday. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So we got a call to end the second hour, and the question was brought up, I guess, yesterday with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons, who, of course, you can listen to following us. And they were having a conversation, according to the caller, about the deepest Titans wide receiver room ever, and that this year's collection of wide receivers, including the number 4 overall pick in Carnell Tate, should be considered the deepest wide receiver room that a Titans team has ever had. There was also a question for Robert about Diego Pavia, because we, of course, have Vandy fans in the audience, and Pavia is a member of Robert Walsh's Baltimore Ravens for the time being. So we will get Robert's thoughts on that here in just a second. So I went through and looked at just like the last 10 years of Titans wide receiver rooms during the break. And shocking to no one, it will not really impress you outside of really from 2019 to 2021, you were sitting pretty. Because you drafted A.J. Brown in 2019. Do you remember Adam Humphries?
I do.
Adam Humphries, despite just being a concussion magnet, God help him. I mean, I hope he's doing well. I know he had a quick stint for maybe the Bucks after he was here.
He did, yeah, and I believe he played for the Jets as well.
Oh, I hope not.
No Jets. It was, Commanders is who I'm thinking of.
I may also be thinking of the Commanders.
No, started with Tampa. He originally
was
came
in
to the
Tampa,
league. Yes.
Then to Tennessee. He was UDFA in Tampa, then to Tennessee, then to the Commanders. Okay, got it. Thank you. So when they had A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and Adam Humphries, that was a pretty good group, but that was 3 deep. The argument... And Josh Reynolds wasn't here very long. Do you remember Josh Reynolds?
I do, yeah. He went to the Lions and actually had a pretty good year after he left here.
Had a lot of success with the Lions after he left here. Their 2021 group of receivers was A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Josh Reynolds, NWI as a 4 deep.
Khalif Raymond, was he gone at that point or he wasn't here yet?
Khalif Raymond would have been gone. I want to say that Khalif Raymond's last year with the Titans was COVID. You might fact check me on that.
That would make sense because the game that the Titans beat the Ravens, Khalif had that huge touchdown over Marlon Humphrey. So that would make sense. That was in the 2020 playoffs, I believe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, after the 2019 season. And then I think Khalif Raymond, it'd be easy to fact check this, but I believe Khalif Raymond was also on that 2020 regular season roster. I may be wrong.
He was,
okay.
Yes. He, after that year is when he departed to Detroit, and I believe he's with Chicago now?
I think that's right. Either way, so the argument could be made for the 2021 group of A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Josh Reynolds, NWI. Let me see if there's any other notable names beyond just that top 4. Because I'd probably pick that 21 group, even with Julio on his last leg. Because when Julio was on, you've probably never seen this game, but there's a Titans-Seahawks game from week 2 that season. It was the first road game of the year. Derrick, I believe, won that game in overtime. Derrick Henry. Julio had just a crazy-ass touchdown catch that got wiped off the board. It was ridiculous. It was one of the more egregious missed calls that have gone against the Titans. But Julio Jones, the thing with Julio while he was here is, Robert, I would go to practice and watch him and just be in awe of him, especially at that size. Like, nobody that size should be able to move that fast. And he was 31 going on 32 here. And Julio could still do all the Julio Jones things, except his hamstrings were also 32 years old. And hamstrings at 32 are much different than the rest of your body when you move like Julio Jones does. And your stops and starts are so sudden and so abrupt for a man that size. Like, he would do like just the standard like ladder drill or footwork stuff, and just the violent rate of speed that his legs are going at. You're like, my entire Achilles would fall off the bone if I tried to move even remotely that fast.
And that's decrepit Julio.
That was at the end. I mean, this is at the very end. I think he had one more year with the Eagles after he left here, and then that might have been it. Because he was wearing 80 for the Eagles. He looked like a damn tight end out there. He's just a giant human being, Julio Jones.
I'm going through our lads, and I'm at December 1st of 2021.
All right, give me the room.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted to bring this up with you. I think this was in the middle of their IR stint where they had so many players on IR.
Oh, so you mean that this is what it was actually versus what it was supposed to be?
Yes, so this is what it turned into.
This is a house of horrors.
And why I think that you could make the argument that this team is deeper right now.
Yeah.
Injuries obviously haven't hit this team. The 3 wide receivers that were on the roster, there were only 3.
Yep.
Des Fitzpatrick, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Chester Rogers.
Yes, Chester Rogers. And then what was the other one's name? There was another one who also had terrible hamstrings.
Marcus Johnson
and Chester Rogers were both, I mean, they were both pretty solid players if they were your 4 or 5 or 3 or 4. But man, because the Josh Reynolds thing, I don't even think it lasted. Was he gone before the regular season started?
No, he was still on the team. In November, it has him listed, so I imagine somewhere in November is where he was cut, but I can find that as well.
He had some public press conference about injuries, and then he was cut like the next day. It was a weird situation.
Here are all the wide receivers that were on injured reserve on the beginning of December of that season. Julio Jones, Gracie McMath, A.J. Brown, Cameron Batson, Marcus Johnson.
Sure.
They were just down to the studs, and not in a good way. It was just knocked all the way down past the drywall.
No, I will not hear ill spoken of Cam Batson. You familiar with the career of Cam Batson at all?
The Batman?
I covered every snap.
Mm.
They had a Robert. All right, so you have Derrick Henry on the Ravens now.
Correct.
Derrick Henry occasionally has wildcat plays. They would go from Derrick Henry wildcat plays here, King Cat, to something that Mickey Ryan would call the Wild Bat, which was the same package of plays, but with Cam Batson. Will you look at the size of Cam Batson for me?
Yeah, I've got it right in front of me.
Derrick Henry is 6'4", 250, 260 ballpark. How big is Cam Batson?
He is 5'8", 175.
The Wild Bat.
Played in...
Was not nearly as effective as the King Cat.
27 games in his NFL career.
Probably more than he should have. As a UDFA out of where? Texas Tech? Texas Tech Cam Batson?
That is correct.
Oh, this is my peak.
From Milkwood, Oklahoma.
That's right. This is my peak Titans existence. Woof. So, yeah, I think you could, given that there are the Titans wide receiver history is a house of horrors, okay? Let's just start there. And I'm not saying that every wide receiver room is going to be 5 or 6 men deep or that you could find. Who's got the deepest wide receiver room in the NFL right now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I think most people's knee-jerk reaction would to just say Bengals because of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
And they've got a number of other dudes.
But that's too deep, right?
Yeah, I mean, Andre Yoshivas is their slot. They drafted Kobe, I can't remember his name, in the 4th round this year. I mean, they've got a number of dudes, but they're just that. They're Roys. They're the rest of y'all.
Somebody said in 2021, some would say the OC was drinking on the job. Yeah. Well, no, that was after the job. I wasn't drinking on the job. I was drinking after the job. And on the ride home from the job. And the plane ride home from the job.
I'd throw the Lions in there, probably the Eagles at this point. The Eagles have spared no expense in finding that wide receiver 3 that eluded them for like 2 years.
Right. They've added a number of different players. Well, Michael Pittman's with the Steelers now. I would have said the Colts last year.
Yeah. And Colts wide receiver room is a little yucky. Do you know that NWI is, I mean, right now, take what you want to out of this, out of depth charts in May, but Alec Pierce, NWI, Josh Downs are the 3 wide for the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh.
Was Pierce worth all the juice? Was the juice worth the squeeze in keeping him?
I guess because what you're thinking there is, okay, but that doesn't include Tyler Warren, and it doesn't include Jonathan Taylor. Like they've still got assets across the board. They're just a little more top heavy at wide receiver now.
Patrick in the F&M Bank chat brings up the Rams. I don't.
So Puka, Devontae Adams at an advanced age.
Jordan Whittington. Top heavy when they still had like all of the ancillary pieces that have left in free agency now. I mean, I think when you're talking about deep, it's like how many guys can participate? How many guys can actively help this team? And I like Jordan Whittington, but I wouldn't name him.
Easy. It's the Texans. It should be the Texans. The Texans have first and second round picks at every level of their wide receiver depth chart. It should absolutely be the Texans. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I do. Nico, Jaden Higgins, who was a second round pick last year. Tank Dell is still on this list, and I wonder if he'll ever play again. But if he is at his as normal capacity, he's a really good wide receiver. Jalen Noel, who they took in the 3rd round. Xavier Hutchinson. They have dudes.
I would say that's the deepest wide receiver room in the NFL.
What about the Jags?
I don't.
We didn't even talk about this. You saw that Gladstone came out yesterday and said that the big makeup about Travis Hunter only being a cornerback was overblown. The real quote is that he will have an increased usage on defense at corner, and he will not be excluded from offensive plays. If you take him at his word, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Travis Hunter, and they drafted 2 6th-round receivers, and Josh Cameron out of Baylor and C.J. Williams out of wherever the hell C.J. Williams is from.
I think I'm going to stick with Houston there because Noel and Higgins haven't really become anything yet, and you're right. I am assuming that Tank Dell, I don't know at what point Tank Dell is going to be fully healthy, if he's going to return to football as normal. What happened to that other wide receiver that they drafted out of Alabama? They traded him to the Jets. He was dealing with, I want to say, a cancer diagnosis right after he got drafted. I'm blanking on the young man's name.
Yeah, I'm having trouble coming up with it too.
Either way, Texans have heavily invested in their wide receiver room on an annual basis. So I guess just to put a bow on it, is this the deepest wide receiver room that the Titans have had in the Titans era? It's definitely one of them. I think it's between this and 2021. Okay, Robert, do you have thoughts on Pavia and the Ravens?
I do. I think he has an uphill battle, obviously. John
Mechie.
There we go. John Mechie is no longer on. He might be with the Eagles. I can't remember. Maybe that's who they traded him to.
Okay.
And that was the Texans who traded Mechie, not the Jaguars.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were saying the Jaguars.
No, I meant the Texans.
That's where I got confused. He has an uphill battle, but they brought in some competition in UConn quarterback Joey Fagnano, and they also signed Skylar Thompson, who started the playoff game for the Dolphins a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that generally they would keep 2 quarterbacks on the roster with Lamar and Snoop under the guise of, if you lose Lamar, you're already kind of boned. Like, there's no reason in platooning a ton of backups. I think whoever wins this has a chance to be the QB3, but more likely they try to snag both of them on the practice squad and just operate under the assumption that they only need 2 until they don't. So the reports from rookie minicamp is that Joey Fagnano looked a little better throwing the ball than Pavia did, and people were alluding to hand size being an issue with that. Pavia not being able to get a full grip of the ball, and he threw a couple wobblers where Fagnano on the run had a little tighter spiral. And it's always going to be tough to unseat a veteran who has been playing in the NFL. So uphill battle, but I think that where Pavia will really shine is in actual games, when they actually start playing preseason games. And that will be the merit of whether he stays on the practice squad or not. But uphill battle, if you wanted to make an argument for him, he is younger than Fagnano, who I believe will be 26. Played like 7 years of college football. But for all accords and everyone that I listened to that were at rookie minicamp for the Ravens, he looked like he fit in. He looked fine. He didn't look like, it's like, oh, this guy looks bad. It looks like a UDFA. He looks fine.
Somebody on YouTube, Robert, if you can be at the ready on the hotkeys here, said Buck just got so excited reminiscing about the past, he almost yelled, "Tighten the hell up."
Yeah, baby.
It's when the job used to be fun, when they used to be good. Tighten the hell up. Not when you're just tracking.
So if they're good, you'll say it.
No, I won't. I didn't say it then. I won't say it now.
We really don't know. If I cut your camera off, we really don't know if you're saying this or not.
Tighten the hell up. It could not sound more like a robot. It sounds more robotic than anything that robots or AI are producing right now.
Tighten the hell up. That's what their mascot should be if they get rid of that raccoon. Just be a big robot. Like the Fox robot.
I think if the raccoon has survived this long, he's going to be around for the long term. Tighten the hell up. All right, very good. Speaking of the Titans, Gus Bradley, we talked about what Brian Daboll said about deployment of the rookie, specifically first-round wide receiver. Let's hear from Titans defensive coordinator Gus Bradley on Anthony Hill, on Keldrick Falk, and on what they're trying to accomplish on his side of the ball next.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jury's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair. Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Best hot chicken in the world. Beach Boys fan?
Oh, yeah. They, anyway, I hate that I feel like I'm slowly losing my mind and I can't pull things that I want.
It's just the radio show.
They wrote probably the greatest song of all time.
Which was?
Yeah, I'm Googling.
Okay.
You should be able to recall the greatest song of all time.
I mean,
God Only Knows from their Pet Song album. If you've never heard God Only Knows, it is a beautiful, beautiful love ballad. I love that song.
But you're not playing the Beach Boys to pay tribute to their beautiful work.
No, I'm playing Kokomo because Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel rented a boat. We've been playing boat songs all day. Kokomo.
My first interaction with these two human beings after weeks at this point of us talking about this story are going to be interesting. Interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I heard your producer made fun of us at every opportunity. I'm sure that'll be fun.
No, it's not going to go that way. That's typically, you give yourself entirely too much credit. It's going to be a lot of expletives, probably some threats. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Maybe.
You want to go on a boat so bad, Buck? Let's go on a boat. And they do you like BP off of Sopranos.
BP.
Not my. Just don't do my face.
Not the face.
Not the face.
Not the face. Yeah, just get tossed over. Food for the fishes. In Putnam County. What kind of fish are living in Cookeville, Tennessee? Either way.
Ugly kind.
Unrelated, before we get back into Titans-related subject matter, let's go to Charlie in Murfreesboro.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to come on and give a big shout-out to the Blackman High School girls flag football team. They're in the region championship tonight. They play Warren County, and it is an opportunity. If they win this game, they go on to state. So just wanted to call in and
awesome
and just give them some flowers.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Is there somewhere where that can be watched, where people can follow along?
I don't believe it's being broadcasted.
Okay.
I know that the state championship will be, but the region championships are not. But that people can feel free to come out to Blackman High School in Murfreesboro and root them on.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the call, Charlie. We appreciate that. And well done by the Blackman High School girls flag football team.
I wish that was around when I was in high school. I feel like that would have been so much fun to go to.
Games?
Yes, I feel like that would have been so much fun.
Your high school didn't do Powder Puff?
We did do Powder Puff, and Powder Puff was elite. But do they still do Powder Puff? Like, is the implication of men dressing like cheerleaders and women dressing like men? Is that like gauche today? Do they still do Powder Puff?
Maybe in Tennessee.
I actually almost got suspended for my Powder Puff. Everyone gets brought up. It's just like homecoming, but it's a faux coming. So like everyone gets to go up there and act like they're like it's their final game or whatever. And when I approached, I had a baby tied, like the umbilical cord tied around my waist. So when I walked, the baby dropped out, and I acted like I just gave birth. God. And they were I got in so much trouble. I was going to be the Powder Puff queen, and they changed it because I had this water breaking incident.
That's one of those situations where, like, if you're a teacher in that moment, you have to take it seriously and discipline this idiot.
I was wearing heels. My heels kept sinking into the football field.
You go back into the office after the fact, and you're like, I can't believe that mother. You have to laugh about it after the fact, right?
No, they were mad. Miss Dar, shout out Miss Dar. She asked me multiple times, what are you planning on doing? And I was like, I'm just being myself. What do you mean? I don't plan on doing anything but my best, always. And afterwards, I have never had a teacher physically discipline me in school. She pulled me by the ear so hard that I would have rathered Mike Tyson be in a fight with me and Evander Holyfield me than to have how hard she jerked on my ear.
So I never had a situation like that in Powder Puff. We did get tossed out of a basketball game, a high school basketball game, as a senior class because we did CEOs and corporate garden hose.
Yes, garden tools.
Garden tools night, except only one of us was dressed as a garden tool, and he was cross-dressed. It was one of my college roommates, Evan Bitter.
All I know is
pictures are probably still on the internet somewhere, but the implication was that we were going to a public school gym dressed as CEOs because one of those snobby, private Catholic school, you're going to work for us someday type of implications. They did not appreciate that, so we were asked to leave.
I'm glad that's my man wasn't around when I was in high school, because our free throw percentage would have been awful. No one would have made a shot if I was at the game. I would have just hollered, that's my man. I love him. That's my man.
I don't know if Gus Bradley is your man, but Gus Bradley was also one of the people speaking at Titans rookie minicamp the other day. Gus Bradley might be your man.
Dude, when he was talking, I was excited for Daboll. I was excited for Saleh, getting to hear him talk about it. And then I heard Gus Bradley start to talk, and Gus Bradley really might be my favorite coach on this team. He just gives great answers.
He's just got a very, I think he described it as his attitude is always 85 and sunny. Like Gus Bradley is just I don't know how much people know about him. He was obviously the coach of the Jags, the head coach of the Jags for a while, in some less than successful times for the Jags. I think you could very diplomatically describe it. So maybe not the greatest head coach, but I think Gus Bradley, he's fun out there. He's jawing at the offense the entire time during practice. He's just one of those. Like, he's got a zest for his job and a zest for life that is fun to be around.
He opened up his press conference talking about Mac and talking about the impact that Mac had on him and the energy that Mac brought. He's like, and that's the kind of coach I wanted to be. I want to be that coach that brings that type of energy. And as soon as he started like that, I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm so in.
Well, if you want to, I don't know if you probably didn't watch Bones.
I did. I saw Bones,
open to the press conference. But yeah, that was
They all did a great job honoring Mac.
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
So let's start with Gus Bradley. Let's talk a little bit about what the Titans defensive coordinator had to say about some of the new additions they've had in the last couple of months.
Anthony Hill come off as a true middle linebacker in this scheme? Where does he fit? And then also, I guess, how does that affect where you wind up putting Cedric Gray or James Williams or Cody Barton?
Great question. So when we look at linebackers, we look more like not Mike separate than the Sam. We try to get everybody with similar skill sets. We need speed, short area quickness, those things. And then once we take a look at that group, probably the best communicator out of the group is the Mike. But it's not, all right, we're going to design this defense. Let's go get a great communicator. Maybe we have to give up on some things, but we got a great communicator. It's more, no, we need this skill set, and then out of the skill set, the best communicator is the Mike.
So that's interesting for, a couple of different reasons. One, Anthony Hill is an overt communicator at every turn. I don't know if he's more communicative, if he's able to key and diagnose better than like Cody Barton, for example, who just played a significant amount more of pro football than Anthony Hill has. So maybe there's a process, a transitional phase as they try to integrate Anthony Hill into the lineup. But essentially what he's saying there is we don't have a type for each position of linebacker, off-ball linebacker in our defense. We're looking for three of a kind, and the best talker among them, he's going to call the defense. Short area quickness, how they manage to hold up in coverage. These are three pretty different players that you're talking about in Cedric Gray, Anthony Hill, and Cody Barton. I am assuming that their designs on this situation is that at some point, Anthony Hill will be the Mike linebacker. I don't know if that's a week one thing or not. I think ideally you'd like to get him ready enough through preseason, through training camp, where it could be a week one thing.
And also a big notice around how they talk about him versus how Cedric Gray was talked about when he got here. And not to say that Cedric Gray isn't a good communicator or a bolsterous player who can detail things along the whatever play they're trying to run, but it is telling that they're saying this before the guy's ever taken a snap. Before he's ever played in the NFL, they want to talk about how good of a communicator he is.
Well, you've watched his press conference. I don't know if it comes through on the press conference, but he's shouting at us. Like the microphone, I think, mutes him a little bit, Anthony Hill, when he's, and not shouting at us in a nefarious way or like yelling at us.
But like a passionate way.
He is projecting. Like he is very, very animated. I don't know how many people watched his Zoom call with us after he was drafted by the Titans. The way that he kept, like, leaning way too close into the camera to talk to us. Like, he's very effusive, overly communicative is how I would describe Anthony Hill. And I'm sure as a defensive coordinator working with potential Mike linebackers, there's no such thing as overly communicative. You can hear Anthony Hill everywhere Anthony Hill goes. And that's just, dealing with him in press conferences, much less on the football field. We'll see what he looks like on the football field here on next couple of weeks, not next week, but the following week, we are out there for OTAs. We've got 3 open OTAs. I don't think we've talked about this. There's 3 open OTAs for us, the media, and then there will be mandatory minicamp in mid-June. I think it's the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Which will put a bow on the Titans and everybody's offseason program before we break for 6 weeks in the NFL, and then we come back and it's training camp time. Crazy. It's almost, I can say definitively, it is almost training camp time.
I love it.
Yes.
Oh, it's almost here.
Yes. Hopefully it goes better this time.
Prefer guys that have the same skill set and not separate archetypes?
Well, because I think in some cases our defense gives the illusion of space to a quarterback and to an offense, and then we need guys that can eat up that space in a hurry. So that's where the speed is such a big factor.
In particular, how important was your guys' free agent approach up front to have depth with veterans so you can kind of ease somebody like Keldrick Falk into the mix?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Everybody says, right, it starts up front, but in our situation, we really, when we're humming, you'd like to get it to where you're 8 deep. And you come in waves. And, to have some of the guys, the veteran guys that understand the system. Anybody who can, has been involved with it and knows what the standard and the pace looks like and then can show that to the younger players is always a good thing. So there's some familiarity with some of the players. And, like a John Franklin Myers will be great for Keldrick. It'll be great for him to see how it operates and things like that. And I think he's excited for that part of it.
Gus Bradley talking about talking about prototypes for linebackers for various spots at linebacker, and then the acclimation process for Keldrick Falk, their second of 2 first-round picks that they made this year. They are going to try and they have set it up to where Keldrick Falk does not have to be thrown out there for 3 downs every time, playing 85 to 90% of the snaps as a first-round pick, as a young player who's still kind of growing into his body. He's, is he 20? He's going to be 21 by the time the season starts. I know.
He is already 21. He'll be 22 when the season starts.
Okay, 22 when the season starts. I know Carnell is like 21 in 3 months or something like that. The top 3 picks for them are all around 20 or 21 years old. Obviously projecting for a higher upside as they continue to grow and develop. Keldrick Falk's role in that rotation, I would invite people to go look at the player that they keep comparing him to. They are actively talking about him as somebody like Eric Armstead, who was basically an early downs run-stopping player for the Niners in his rookie season. His statistics will not blow you away. You will not look at the box score for Armstead in his rookie season, which I want to say was like 2016, maybe 2017 in San Francisco, and just be mind blown by what a hit of a first-round pick this was, what an impactful player this was. You'll see a lot of tackles. You'll see a lot of tackles for loss. you won't necessarily see that sack production. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I do. He didn't have more than 3 sacks in a season until 2019. That was his 5th year in the NFL. But before that, to your note about TFLs, his rookie year, 3, 2, 2. Like he continually added something, but not as much in the passing game. Like he wasn't someone that you could look at, as you alluded to, the box score and say, oh, yeah, this guy's a great player. But in his 4th year, and if you look at approximate value, which is a thing Pro Football Reference uses to attach a single number to every player's season, how much approximate value they added to their team, his first 3 years in the league weren't great. 2, 2, 2. I mean, he's just an okay player. But then his 4th year in the NFL is when he really started to add a lot of value to the teams. 4th year in the NFL, 7. 5th year in the NFL, 9. After that, 8, and then 4, 5, 1, and then last year with the Jags, 6. So not a player that's adding an overworld amount of value, but is still very valuable to the defense he's a part of.
Jeffrey Mullins asks this question, and I don't think it's an unfair one. He says, why narrow your options down to getting players that are one-dimensional? We need players that can play all 3 downs and run defend and pass defend. Yes, you need them to eventually be that for you. You need them to be fully formed players in their NFL careers. Absolutely. At the onset, though, you want to find ways to delegate these responsibilities. You want to have options. You can't just play. Harold Landry was an anomaly here because Harold regularly played north of 85% of the snaps. At a certain point, and he was also, they were dropping him back into coverage. He was rushing the passer. He was playing rundowns. Like, Harold could do a lot, so they left him on the field a lot. And that was, that was fine until he tore his ACL. I think it was his first year after getting the contract. And then people started talking about his workload. Whatever. It wasn't a problem before then. These things happen. For Keldrick Falk, if you put him out there on an island before he's ready, you are doing a disservice not just to your defense, but to Keldrick Falk. You want to put that player in the best possible position to succeed. He may not be a player. None of these players. He's one of the best defensive linemen on the board in the first round. One of the best defensive linemen in college football last year. Okay? It doesn't mean that he can't eventually become the kind of player that you would be comfortable leaving on the field for all 3 downs. But you have to have a number of these guys, and especially as they're young, developing players, learning different languages, essentially, learning different teammates, learning different roles, techniques, all these different things. You want them to think as little as humanly possible because you want them to play fast. You want them to it to come instinctually to them. And all of it, the entire menu on defense or offense, whatever position you're talking about, a little easier on the defensive line because at the end of the day, it's like, all right, stop the running back. Okay, go get the quarterback. At its essence, there's more layers to it, obviously. I just think that you have to be cognizant of the fact that, none of these players, even the first-round picks, are arriving at the pros as anywhere close to a finished product. They all have areas of their game that need development at the next level.
100%. I mean, the player that you're describing, and you're not wrong, Jeffrey, in your assumption of we need players that can do it all.
Yes.
But the player that you're describing goes in the first 5 picks. The player that you're describing is a unicorn. Very rarely do full-built players, as you're talking about, come to the league like that.
Yeah.
Usually you're trying to identify elite skills or great skills that translate to the NFL, and you try to raise their level of the skills that are not up to par to an average level and let them be good at what they're good at.
You should never have been able to draft Jeffrey Simmons at 19. Jeff should have been a top 5 pick. I don't know if that's maybe warped expectations for Titans fans that they look and say, oh, we got this game-changing player, this best defensive tackle in the league at 19 overall that year. When in reality, Jeff was 19th in the first round because he blew his knee out training for a combine. No, he wasn't invited to the combine because of the domestic violence. I don't know if we're still doing that, by the way.
Yes, we are still doing that, yes.
Okay, good. Jeff Simmons was not invited to the combine. He was training for the pre-draft process on his own, tore his ACL in like February of that year, and then ended up getting on the field in October and still was pretty damn well as good a defensive line player as they had, even on a roster including Jarrell Casey, and Jarrell was obviously excellent at the peak of his powers. So, yeah, he may get there eventually. You are drafting him because you think he can get there eventually. He's not there yet. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, we'll update some polls. Get out of here for the day. Coming up next. Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer. If you're in the market for a vehicle and you're looking for a trustworthy dealership, let me introduce you to my friends at Two Rivers Ford. They're family owned and operated and have been for over 4 decades. And they do things a little differently than most dealerships. For starters, they have a non-commissioned sales team, so their salespeople are paid to help you find exactly what you're looking for in whatever price range you want to stay in. They're upfront and transparent, and their expert team will help you every step of the way, from test driving to financing. And at Two Rivers Ford, they have real prices. What do I mean by that? Some dealerships will advertise one price online, and then when you get to the dealership, they've added on accessories or service packages that you didn't ask for, but it's reflected in your bill. Not at Two Rivers Ford. At Two Rivers Ford, their advertised prices are real. What you see is what you get. Local, honest, real. Two Rivers Ford since 1983, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Did you do this because TMZ just released literal footage of Diana and Mike on a dock literally 20 minutes ago? Another video. Who is keeping these videos on their phone for 6 years? Like
CJ. No one's going to get that but us. But
that's such a good inside joke by you. Okay, if you go to one of these elephant sanctuaries in Thailand, right? And it's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Or you go to the pyramids of Egypt, or you go wherever in the world that you go, the Great Wall of China, somewhere that you may never get back to in your life, somewhere that is iconic or that is incredibly memorable or means something so much to you that you want to forever not just keep the memory in your mind, but also have the memory on your phone, documented. Who the hell is keeping a Bigfoot-style video of Mike Vrabel with his back from 300 yards away walking down a dock? Who are these people? And they all have videos. And they're all very public. And they're all Diana.
The same people like me who haven't cleaned out their iCloud storage since they had gotten iCloud storage.
How do you even remember that's on your phone?
I wouldn't forget. My buddies would not let me forget. Remember that time we were on a summer break or whatever, and we went to the dock, and Mike Vrabel was there with Diana Rossini?
Okay, but nobody knew it was Diana. Nobody knew it was Diana. Yeah, now
they do. Now is when they would be like, "Hey, remember we got that pic with Mike on the dock when they were like, hey, don't post this." Now we know why.
It's not a pic of him on the. I mean, there was a picture of him with people on a dock that he asked it to not be posted publicly. And again, it comes this latest TMZ revealing keeps coming back to the fact that she was very much pregnant at the time. I remember her being here at training camp that year because that was the year that the Deshaun Watson story broke while she was here for training camp. I remember she basically had to abandon ship and spend the rest of the day doing live hits from Titans training camp about Deshaun Watson and his sexual escapades.
See, we talked about, I think it was in a break, we talked about the reason why this story probably will not die. And every year there is a summer story surrounding the NFL that just does not go away.
Yeah.
Last year, or maybe 2 years ago, Aaron Rodgers, the Darkness Retreat, all of that. Deshaun Watson, that summer, that was the topic that kept everyone going. What's the trade compensation? Who are the teams available? Oh, my God, the Browns just gave up the farm for him. Every year there's a story like this. And that's why I think things are going to just continue to come out until they run out of escapades or boats or Sedonas or situations.
Weird. Why are you doing that? I mean, maybe the answer is simply they genuinely are in love with one another. I don't know. I'm so tired of talking about this story, but God, at every turn, every week, there is a new video, a new picture, and it's all very, very public, except nobody knew that wasn't his wife. And so it was just a picture of Mike Vrabel, or a video, a Bigfoot long shot of Mike Vrabel, or a picture of Mike Vrabel at a casino in Mississippi with, that's got to be his wife. No.
Diana and Mike Vrabel at Golden Corral in August.
Holiday World Splash and Safari.
They're riding the gravy boat. Is it a worse story if they are in love, or this is just a fling? If this is just too carnal?
I think it's worse if there is. I mean, again, this is where it gets into the real stuff that I don't care. I don't care if they are or they aren't. I do think it makes a worse story if there are strong I would assume to carry on whatever kind of relationship this ends up being, whatever this was. I don't know. All I know is next week there will probably be more on TMZ And it's just going to keep taking up oxygen.
Hopefully a zoo video.
See you tonight.
It's Ramon Foster, and I'm with Aaron from United Structure Systems. Man, they came by today to check out my house. If there's anything, any issues, small or big, you're gonna fill us in there.
We can take care of it no matter what kind of problems. So first off, we'll just kind of take a look through your house and see what kind of issues you got going. You know, cracks in the brick, cracks in the drywall, weird spots in the floor, doors sticking, windows not opening properly. Once we identify those areas, we're going to do a thorough inspection around the outside, make sure there's no issues going on with that. And then once we look over it, we'll talk about what's going on, and hopefully we ain't got no issues, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Let's go.
Mr. Foster, so we have looked at the issues that you brought up. We had the drywall in the attic up here above your bonus or your garage. You had some doors sticking.
I did.
Going in your bathroom. So we've inspected all that. We don't see any major structural concerns. So you're going to be one of our lucky good news customers today. There is some minor deflection there. That's not an uncommon thing. As any house is built, it's its biggest and its strongest the day that it's born. Right, and from that point, it just gets older, just like us. We ain't hopping up out of bed, taking off down the hallway, running those stairs anymore.
Not protecting quarterbacks anymore.
No.
Opening up late. We're done.
Your guard ain't there no more.
Okay,
so,
I got you.
So it just happens. It gets a little older and it starts to deflect. Now, there are some things we can do to kind of help adjust those doors, mainly adjusting in the door, which we don't necessarily do, and maybe doing some light shimming in the crawl space down there to address those sticking doors. But for now, no major issues there. We did talk about the grading in the back and some issues that we can take care of back there for you. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. No big issues and you're good to go. So.
Awesome. So again, what you deal with United Structural Systems is it's upfront, it's honest, and now I can sleep peacefully at night, okay?